In this video, I'm going to show you how to quickly, easily, and cheaply build a durable farmhouse table, either 4 to 6 feet long. I say quickly because you could probably build this in about 30 minutes, easily, because you don't need any special skills, carpentry, otherwise, cheaply, because all the things I'm about to show you can get for around $200, and durable, because we've tried a bunch of different farmhouse table configurations that we built ourselves, and this is the one that has held up to the abuse of our 8 children. Now for this project, you're going to need the following supplies. You're going to need a tape measure, you need a pencil, some type of straight edge. It doesn't have to be a level. If you plan on staining it, which this is optional, but if you plan on staining it, you're obviously going to need your stain, and you're probably going to want to put a polyurethane coating over the top of it, a towel to wipe off the excess, and maybe a few sanding blocks just to make it a little bit prettier. But again, this is all optional. And then this is where the secret sauce comes in. So we've tried a whole bunch of different legs, and they all wobble and they all break. So just don't buy any of the legs that you see at Lowe's or Home Depot. You either buy these metal ones that I'm going to recommend to you, or you build them yourself. But since this video is about an easy, quick, and cheap way of doing it with no skills required, these are what I'm going to recommend, and I'm going to put the link to it in the description below. It is an affiliate link to Amazon, but these things are great. This is the third table like this that we have built. And the last piece of secret sauce is this here. So this is the Farmhouse project panel. It's 30 inches by 6 feet. Now, here's the deal. It looks just like a butcher block, and it's very similar to a butcher block. But what you don't want to do is you don't want to go buy a butcher block. This same exact wood is sold over in the shelving aisle at Lowe's, and this is about 110 bucks for this big, nice, sturdy piece of wood. But if you go over to the kitchen area and get a butcher block, this same exact piece of wood is going to be somewhere around $400, if not more. And if you want it stained already, it'll be even more expensive. But since we're trying to be cheap here, if you want this stained, which we are going to stain it, just go pick yourself up a little $10 can of stain and a little bit of polyurethane. It's well worth it, and you'll see it at the end. As you can see, this already looks like a table. Basically pull up a chair and sit it the way it is, but obviously not very safe. So what I did is just threw it on top of some bar stools I had, and I'm just going to take a little sanding block, nothing fancy. If you have an orbital sander or some other sander, that's fine. But this thing's already pretty smooth when it comes. I just like to take just something to get the edges a little bit, and just make the edges just a little bit less sharp. So again, if you've got an orbital sander or a mouse sander, which I got one of those too, but for the sake of this video, I was just going to rough it up with this little thing. Or you can just get sandpaper itself and hold it in your hand. No big deal. But like I said, this is already super smooth, so it doesn't need much. Stuff like this. Okay, nice and smooth. Alright, something I forgot to mention in the beginning that you're probably going to want to have if you're going to stain. If you're not going to stain, don't worry about it. But if you're going to stain, you're probably going to want to grab just some disposable gloves. You can buy a whole pack. I have a whole pack just because of all the projects, but you can just buy for $1 a couple disposable gloves. But yeah, so if you're not going to stain, then I'll put chapters in this video so you can skip this part. But if you are going to stain, I would recommend go ahead and staining this side before we put the legs on. That way, once you flip it over, then you can just stain the other side. So, or you can choose not to stain this side at all and only stain the top. Your choice. No one really is going to be seeing the other side of your table, but my wife will want it stained. So I'm staining it. So before you open your stain, you're probably going to want to give it a good little shake, just to make sure it's nice and mixed up. You can get a tool, or you can just use a pocket knife and pop her open. There we go. And again, don't get this on your clothes because it will not come out. Don't get it on your hands, it won't come out. But stain is not the same as paint. I am using a paintbrush just because that's what I had and it works fine. I'm just going to come back and wipe off the excess with this rag. So yeah, I'm just going to take a little bit of this and I'm just going to spread it out all across the table here. They sell little foam brushes you can use instead, but these work fine for me. Because what you don't want is you don't want these big old drips here. But again, this is the underside, so it doesn't have to be perfect. But again, the goal of stain is not the same as paint. You just want it to seep down into the wood a little bit. And if you I guess if you want the stain to do a better job, then you probably are going to want to sand this a little bit deeper than what I did at the beginning. But again, this stuff is pretty smooth as it is. Alright, so this is where your measuring tape, your straight edge, and your pencil are going to come in handy. So now we want to mark where we're going to put the legs. So this is just a 6-foot table, but typically you want to leave, if you're going to put chairs on the end, you want to leave at least 12 to 14 inches. And you also just want to, you don't really want these legs specifically on the edges. You kind of want the weight of the table to be a little bit evenly dispersed. So what I typically do is I'm doing about 14 inches is where I'm going to line up my legs. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to mark 14 inches here, and I'm going to make a second mark of 14 inches here, and you can see that I still have my gloves on because this isn't completely dried yet, but I did wipe off the excess so it's not going to be dripping. Alright, so I marked 14 inches. It's probably hard to see, but I got two little lines right here. And then the goal is to then take your straight edge and you're going to put it with, and you're going to line it up with your 2 marks. There you go, 14, 14. And you're just going to make a line. Now, it's going to be kind of hard to see, which is good, because I don't want to have to come back and erase this later. But the legs will actually cover that. So now you have a straight line. The other thing we know about this table is that it's 30 inches across. So you just want to validate, because I know cuts are weird sometimes, but yeah, it's exactly 30 inches across. So the middle of this table is 15 inches. So that line that you just made, you're going to want to find 15 inches, and you're going to want to make a little cross there. And so that is going to be what you use to line up your legs for the table. And we're just going to do the other side really quick as well. Alright, I was going to show you these lines that we made. So you can see that we got this line that we drew here, and then right here is 15 inches, and that's where the cross is. So now what we're going to do is we're going to take our leg, right? You got the side with the holes in it, that's what's going to go down. And what you're going to do is you're going to take your tape measure, and we know that this leg is about 19 and a half inches. So 19 and a half, that's going to be 9 3/4. Help me with my, so half of 19 and a half is going to be 9 3/4. So 9 3/4 times 2 should equal 19 and a half. So what we're going to do is, again, this is a pencil, so we're going to find 9 3/4 on our legs. We're going to make a little mark there. And so now all we have to do is take this and align this mark that we made on the table with this mark, and then align the edges with the edge of the mark that we already made. So voila. So now that leg is right where we want it. And now that our legs are all lined up, all we're going to do is take the screws that are provided and screw it down. There's some longer screws and there's some shorter screws. I just like to stagger them. Alright, so the legs are on, they are sturdy, and before you flip this thing over, you're going to want to go ahead and screw in the little feet. So if I had one complaint about these legs, it's that these feet do give out on you eventually. But it does come with 2 extras in the pack, so make sure you do not lose them. But yep, they just screw right in, righty-tighty, and these are perfect. If you've got some unlevel ground or something like that, you can just take these things and screw them in or out and make your table a little extra sturdy. Alright, for this part you're probably going to want to get someone to help you, but if you're stubborn like me, you're just going to do it yourself. So these legs are pretty sturdy, so I can just grab these legs. Flip it over, get these guys out of the way. And voila! We have a table. Just need to stay on the other side. Alright, so there we have it. We did it. I went back and looked at the video clips, and it took about 30 minutes to build this table, like I said at the beginning. So this was not clickbait. All right, so let's review real quick. The tabletop, you get it at Lowe's, and make sure you do not go to the kitchen and cabinet area, but you actually go to the lumber section and look for their project table, their project panel. Should be around $117, or at least that's how much it was at my local Lowe's. Yours might vary a little bit. Now, the legs, I got them on Amazon. I'll put a link for them below. They were actually a little bit hard for me to find because we tried out a whole bunch of different legs. These ones were the best. $83.99 for the pair. And I'll put the affiliate link. Yes, it is an affiliate link. So if you like this, you're going to build this, and you got value out of this, do me a favor and buy through the affiliate link, and I get a few pennies. But $83.99 for the set. So between the two of them, that comes out to, with tax, probably about $210. So pretty much right there at the 200 mark if it wasn't for Uncle Sam. Side note, if you're looking for chairs that go really well with this table, I've got these Farmhouse metal chairs. I also get those from Amazon. We've tried a bunch of different chairs. As I mentioned, we've got 8 kids, soon to be 9, and they can be pretty tough on our furniture. These guys stand up to it. So these metal chairs are about $18.75 a piece on Amazon. If you get them all together, like a 4-pack, I think it's like $70 for 4. But these things are great. We've probably had these ones, we moved these up from Florida. So we've probably had these ones for at least 2 years, if not longer. But yeah, so if you enjoyed this video, if you got value out of this, or you think things like this are interesting, please do me a favor, like, and more importantly, subscribe to our YouTube channel. And you can just see, watch all of the craziness that goes on our 105-acre farm with our 8, soon to be 9 kids up here in Southern Virginia. Thank you for watching, and have a great day.